Okay, that was gonna bother me the whole time if I didn't do that. Hey, welcome back. Oh my God, welcome back to For the First Time podcast. My name is KJ, you know that. Holy crap. I'm gonna stop touching. But, before we jump in, I usually do like a little bit of a cold open, but I've transitioned, okay? We're constantly upgrading, upgrades, people. Upgrades. I switched my podcast notes to my iPad, and I also do like the Googling that I do mid-episode from my iPad, so it only has 15%. Clearly I didn't like think this through before I started, but that's what we're gonna do. I also want to do a little bit of an unboxing. I hate cases on iPhones. I can't stand the idea of having a case on an iPhone. And also, for those who are unfamiliar, and maybe they've drifted from this, Apple's like goal is to get as close to like a slate of glass as possible when you're holding your phone or devices. That's why the iPad is so good, and why like it's kind of unexplainable why other tablets can't get into the market, because the iPad feels like you're holding a slate of glass and you're controlling a spaceship. Like, it just feels so good. We love a sustainable company. We've got paper packaging, we've got a paper box. I don't know if this little bit of foam is not recyclable, but shout out to them. So anyway, a long story short, I bought glass screen protectors front and back this time, because you will not see a case on my next iPhone, and I am upgrading not finally. So I have this 12 Pro Max, and finally upgrading to the 15. I think when everyone compares the upgrades of the previous phone, like the 14 to the 15, of course you shouldn't upgrade from the 14 to 15. Like, the reason that Apple does such incremental updates is because they know that within their market, so many people are in 2-year contracts to where they're no longer like, there of course there's always going to be those like early advancers who are going phone to phone, but like the mass majority of their market is going from, I had an iPhone 8, oh I'm finally getting the 12, I have a 12, oh I'm finally getting the 15. So it's a big enough upgrade between those 3 phones, versus if they were to do bam, I don't know. I'm pro Apple. I don't know why. Don't ask me twice, just know that I've said it before. Long story short, today we're talking about, honestly, the future, the technology of the future, because this show changed the lives of way too many people in the world. Today, we are talking season 1 of Glee. Yeah, so season 1 of Glee, specifically stopping at season 1 because that's all I watched, because it was, I don't know how many episodes, but I chat a lot about returning to the original episode structure of like the traditional television episodic structure for TV shows, but when I tell you, by the time I got to the mid-season finale, I was like, and what else is going to happen? 22 episodes, all I think around that 40-minute mark. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. But gosh darn it, was this not the longest series I feel like I've ever watched? And there's more seasons. And there's more. It's kind of like when I first watched Teen Wolf. Like, Teen Wolf existed, I think, similar timing, ? But the episode structure changed and adapted between the seasons. So like season 1 is like this. It's like 11 episodes for the front half, 11 episodes for the back half, a mid-season finale, a true finale, and it lasts over a year, and then the reruns last forever. Okay, and then they skip a year and then they do another season or whatever. And so Teen Wolf started that way, then it was like 24 episodes, then it was 20, then it was 16, then it was 18. Like, they were playing around with it a lot. And I do think preferably like the 16 to 18 realm is like the perfect episodic structure for television. Even on streaming, I'm sick and tired of 6 episode seasons. No, stop doing that. At least give us 10. Like, at least, because I'm a binger, but also like I like watching an episode, taking a break, watching an episode. Like they can be an hour long, 45 minutes long, whatever, but give me 10. Like give me something to look forward to. I also I'm a fan. You know what I'm really a fan of? 16 episodes, and 2 episodes drop every week. So you can choose to watch both and spend an hour and a half watching, or you can only watch one, it's 45 minutes. Then later in the week, you watch the other one. And by the time you've watched the other one, the next pair are coming out. That's my favorite structure. That's Chef's Kiss, my favorite structure. I will say the only people that I feel like have gotten away with returning to a traditional TV structure is Abbott Elementary, because it's so funny. Because I'll watch one episode 2 or 3 times. And so unless your episodes hold that, like, oh, I could watch it 2 or 3 times, do not release on a weekly structure or we will fight. Anyway, I'm a little jazzed because I've had my coffee this morning, which I ate on that. And I also haven't had food yet. And it's noon. So I was supposed to wake up 7 a.m. and do my fasted cardio because I wake up at like 7:30 every day. Didn't get that. Didn't get out of bed till 9:30 because I rolled out of bed at 9:30, right? Like I got up at 9, but I didn't get out the bed till 9:30. By that time, there's too many chores, guys, so whatever. So I'll do my cardio later, but basically I'm still fasting without the cardio. Fasting from food, I'm like drinking a liquid that some people would count as food. But let's actually get into the episode because like that's what you came for. You came to talk about Glee. You watched Glee as a kid. I'm 25 years old watching Glee for the first time. And so let me tell you, I got into Glee because I watched High School Musical, the musical, the series. And that I know is controversial because I am 25 years old. And I don't tell people voluntarily that much. But I'm telling you guys, the internet, which is everybody I know. And so I just liked it. I was a High School Musical fan. I was like, why not give it a little taste? First season, a little cringy. Second season, I was along for the ride. Third season, third season was the camp season. I don't know if I liked that as much. But the fourth season, I was nostalgic for the show almost. Like, I don't know. It's good to me. It's funny. I love a little lighthearted high school comedy. So that's what it gave. And yeah, I liked it. I did. Yeah, it was like you had to hold on for the ride. But the fourth season was probably the best season in my opinion. And I love when a show is like, we're ending, so we're gonna do it perfectly, because that's what they did. Perfection. So Glee, it was the next stage in musical TV shows about kids in high school for me. And so, summary from season 1. The series focuses on a high school glee club called... Let me just act like I know how to read. Summary from season 1. The series focuses on a high school glee club called New Direction, set within the fictional William McKinley High School in Lima, Ohio. I think that's key. That's critical. It's fake. Hey, fake. Okay. Now, I know that people had show choir in high school, but, like, this is obviously a dramatized, like, the drama parallels other high schools, but maybe isn't exactly like the school you went to. Now, I am an outlier. I went to a private school that was very small. It was like 400 students total when I was there. Now they've kind of escalated to somewhere near 6 or 8 total. They also have a bigger school. They like redid the whole school. It's like brand new and like nothing I ever got, but whatever. No, I'm kidding. I'm not salty whatsoever. I liked the tight-knit high school environment that I had, because no secrets, right? Everybody knew everybody in their mama's business. You was not moving wild unless you wanted everybody to know. And I think that's the perfect, like, that's what really keeps kids in check in private school, is the fact that the school is way too small. Like, rumors don't spread because the truth doesn't even get, you know what I mean? Like, the telephone line ain't even that long. So between the first person hearing it and the last person hearing it, like, 20 people, it's not that long for a rumor to spread. Like, not a rumor. I shouldn't say rumors don't get spread. I should say rumors don't get twisted as easily, because, like, it can easily be clarified like, there's only so many people. If you guys get what I'm going for. But yeah, I love this season. Apparently it kind of just like dives off of a cliff after the first two seasons. So, excuse me, hopefully I don't have hiccups for long. Apparently it just dives off of a cliff after the first two seasons. So we're gonna stay tuned. I probably will get into the second season because it's a good little background show. I'll give it that. It's not like I was paying attention. Let me not lie on myself. I was watching this show. I would put it on and I would need to be watching it. I tried to put it on while I was doing homework and didn't succeed. So, yeah, it's a watch for sure. But yeah, executive producers, we have Ryan Murphy, Brad Falchuk, and Dante Loretto. No details there on who those men are. So somebody needs to reach out to the researcher. Yeah, so, but second to that, similar to Harry Potter last episode, Glee has the thickest, juiciest, butteriest, most words, insert thick synonyms, wiki pages, wiki fandom wiki, okay? Everything that I'm gonna say is, including again the characters, I'm going to read off the fandom wiki. So, lock in. Pilot aired May 9th, 2009. Had 9 million viewers. Now, that's just a lot, in my opinion. It's probably not, obviously, the most viewed, whatever, has, 100 million, a billion, whatever. But that's a lot, low-key. But the actual broadcast start wasn't until September of 2009. Now, I had to explain this to a friend of mine, and I guess people don't know this. Don't go watch the pilot of a show and expect to gauge whether or not you're gonna like it. Go watch the second episode. Skip the pilot. Just watch the second episode, because the second episode is the real first episode. The pilot of most shows is created just for testing and consumer insights and understanding, does the show land, which is why it piloted so early. Because they wanted to see, would people watch this? Or would people be interested? And it's usually shot and filmed earlier, in the TV show development, before the rest of the season may have been written or whatever. It's usually done, relatively early. And it's also, kind of a compatibility test for the actors and actresses. And a show can have, not a million, we want to save money. A show could have a dozen pilots, and, then they find one that they really like, and that's the one they air, and then they say, oh, they like it, let's run the rest of the show. Or the show gets picked up by the network after the pilot airs. And it may not always air, and that's another reason why they did half seasons, because it can be, shows get picked up for half the season, and they have to get continuously picked up based on customer watching, whatever. I mean, consumer engagement and consumer behavior and liking, whatever. So this had kind of the traditional structure. And so I remember watching, or I just saw on TikTok, a pilot of Wizards where the characters had different names. And so they recorded a whole episode with these names, but then they're like, we don't like that, we're scrapping that. So, just imagine how many pilots existed that we don't see. And again, it's as the name entails, pilot, it's supposed to give direction to the show and give okay, this is where we should go, this is what people like. So yeah, if you're unfamiliar, most traditional TV shows do it that way. I don't know what the streaming alternative or the streaming standard is for that. But for anything that aired on original television, just watch episode 2. Just forewarning. So yeah, started broadcasting September 9th, 2009, and then concluded October 8th, 2010. So like I said, TV back in the day, it used to run. I'm thinking Teen Wolf, Pretty Little Liars, Glee, shows like that where just episodes just kept coming out, girl. And we used to be tuned in, and I used to be at the front of the TV every week ready to watch my episode. I will say I don't know what the little thing in my brain, I don't know what makes it tick, because I watch podcasts that have weekly release, and I think what makes it work is that I kind of forget what day they release on, so I'm not as oh, there's a new episode. Like, cool, I'm gonna go watch it. But when I know what day of the week the episode releases, I get so infuriated waiting for it. So I kind of have to trick myself and be like, and just never know. Like Abbott, I couldn't tell you what day Abbott released on, but every time I was like, oh, there's a new Abbott episode, I'm gonna go watch it. Like, I think that's the best formula for like TV, for streaming, to like do the weekly releases of like, just don't like release weekly. I don't know, don't promote it so bad. Don't put a lot of promotion around like, this is our release date for me personally, because I'll get attached to like, it's not out yet, I'm having problems. Platform, we're back on Hulu. I don't know why I just lied in the beginning and said we would be going on an HBO Max deep dive, and then chose a bunch of shows that aren't on HBO Max. And then just chose every movie and show that wasn't on HBO Max. But we're back on Hulu. And so to give you the reviews, we have a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb, an 86% on the tomato meter, and an 89% audience score. Again, this is just on season 1. The audience scores do go down subsequently each season, because it started to like, I don't even know if it fell off in the script writing or what happened, but apparently people just don't like the other seasons. I don't know why. I'll have to, again, watch them myself to find out, but just to let you know before you dive into this one, season 1 is apparently the best season. So, positive reviews, we have Alex Vesey, who says, I like seeing Hummel express himself as Alexander McQueen's armadillo. Hello? This is probably supposed to be something else, so just read it off the screen, but basically it's a positive review about, actually, let me do the characters first, so that you know, because a lot of these are about, that have the character names woven in, excuse me. So, main cast, we have Leah Michele. Now, I don't think that girl can read. I like the lie that she can't read. I think it's funny. So I'm just going to put that out there because I know you all want to know what I think. So Leah Michele is Rachel Berry. Corey Monteith is Finn Hudson. Matthew Morrison is Will Schuester. Diana Argon is Quinn Fabray. Chris Colfer as Kurt Hummel. Kevin McHale as Artie Abrams. Amber Riley as Mercedes Jones. Mark Salling as Noah Puckerman, aka Puck. Jenna Ushwitz as Tina Cohen Chang, Jane Lynn as Sue Sylvester, Jayma Mays as Emma Pillsbury, Jocelyn Gilsing as Terry Delmonico, and then we have some returning characters, so I guess they weren't, which is crazy because Naya Rivera is not a returning character, she's in every episode. Naya Rivera as Satana Lopez, who's in every episode, Heather Morris as Brittany Pierce, and then Mike Chang, who's in a majority of the episodes as well, Harry. Hello? Oh, hold on, guys. Nah. Iqbal Theba as Principal Figgins. Again, if I meet any of these people in person, I tried my best, okay? I didn't Google all your names. But basically, like, Rachel is kind of the off-screen. She's, like, the main chick. She's the best singer. She's whatever you want to call her. But she's, like, kind of nerdy, kind of awkward, kind of controlling. Finn is a golden retriever. He's, like, the main lover boy. But he also doesn't ever know what's going on. He's, like, so swayed by other people's opinions. He's never standing on his own ground. The man is just too influenced. He's not influential. He's influenced. Will Schuester is the Spanish teacher who takes on the Glee Club because he used to be in Glee Club. Quinn Fabray is the head cheerleader. She's number 1 cheerleader. She ends up joining because she got pregnant by Puck, but said it was Finn, but really it was Puck, and now she's actually having the baby. gets kicked out by her parents. It's a whole story arc, whatever. I'm going to talk about that later. Kurt Hummel is the token gay kid. That's his whole story arc. That's all he is gay. Artie Abrams, played by Kevin McHale, which shout out to Kevin McHale for saying, like, I would never play this role again, because I think that, like, playing a person who has disabilities is not right for someone who does not have disabilities. It is not something to be played or made fun of, or there's a lot of jokes about him being in a wheelchair. So, and he ain't even in a wheelchair. Anyway, Mercedes Jones, Amber Riley, the best singer, actually. I don't know why the whole show is about, like, she's the token black girl. Why the whole show is about how good Rachel is. Rachel is not that good. Tina, Cohen Chang, token Asian. Also, emo. There's a lot of tokens. I'm just going to keep saying token. Also, emo, and I think that's so funny because there's a whole episode about her style and how she can't be emo anymore. Sue Sylvester, constantly in a tracksuit. First half, she's in the same tracksuit the whole time. After the mid-season finale, or the mid-season arc, she gets to wear different colored tracksuits, and she ate every one. Emma Pillsbury is the guidance counselor, who's kind of mousy, kind of quiet, has OCD, I think, confirmed. Canon OCD. And then Terry Delmonico is Will's wife before they separate because she fakes her pregnancy. Anyway. So, yes. When they say Hummel does a good job expressing himself in the performance of Bad Romance, basically he's being the token gay and saying, no, I'm gonna be myself. And I think that whole episode, I think that is the episode where Tina is not allowed to be emo anymore for whatever random reason they decide. And so then they start dressing, they like start trying to find different styles for her, and they think of Lady Gaga, who's like the style queen. I was informed by a friend of mine who watched this as it aired that basically each week or every episode was influenced heavily by pop culture, like whatever was the hottest at the moment. And so again, yeah, in 2009, 2010, Lady Gaga was like it. So they had to do an episode about Lady Gaga. But yeah, Matt Brennan says the series spent its first 22 episodes redefining TV musical in terms of the series title. Unafraid of Emotions, Glee at its finest opened us up to joy. I do think that. And I said to my friend, I was like, every monologue is as if no one hears it. Like, they do some fourth wall breaks with the monologues, but like, I'm like, they don't hold back anything. They tell us every feeling they have, whether it's the monologue, it's in the actual show, or it's like they have a lot of like internal thoughts that they project just to the audience. So they play really well on like the audience knowing more than the characters, and like you feeling like you have power and control over what's going on because you know everything that's happening. And that's like a really good script writing, is literally like tell the audience more than you tell your characters, and then they'll feel more powerful and more invested in watching. So I think it does open us up to a lot of emotions, and we kind of don't miss a beat. We get everything and nothing in between. And at the end of it, I was like, oh, I smiled at the end of most episodes. So I do think it was a very joyous and gleeful show. So Joe Reed says, remember when it seemed like Glee was going to be a sensational way to combine your musical fix and your teen drama fix? It lasted like 2 months top, but it was a time. Again, kind of like diving into this idea that like after the first season, this show tanked for some reason. Not tanked, but just like the critics' consensus and the kind of like I said with High School Musical, the series, like I loved the first season, fell off the second season, kind of came back on the third, and then the fourth season I loved it. Like similarly, fans had like a roller coaster of emotions with what they liked about each season, and so it came back. It like fads. It like was on and it was off. It was on and it was off, but it ran for freaking like 6 seasons. So that's why I was confused. I was like, y'all hated it so bad, but it's got like 14 seasons. Like, what the heck? I'm so confused how it got so many seasons and y'all hated it. Tell the truth. Let me see if I can find that really quick, how many seasons it had. It had 6 seasons. So, girl, how y'all gonna say y'all ain't like it, but you let it run for 6 dang seasons? That's crazy. Okay? And 22 episodes a season is insane. No, it's not. It's not 22 a season. Let me check. Let me even check on the second season. Let's see how many episodes. No, that looks about the same. Nope, it's close to... Oh, season 6 is only 6 episodes. I guess that's when it got cut. All right, yeah. Cool. So negative reviews, kind of leaning off of that that last positive review that was a little bit negative. Michelle Dean says, like anyone else, I do find the musical numbers, when they are heartfelt, to show the kind of joy that is missing on television these days, but this show won't survive on that alone. Yeah. You have to, it was playing to one target audience, which was musical geeks, musical nerds. I think we're high school, musicals. Versus High School Musical, the musical, the series is targeted towards High School Musical fans because they only really do High School Musical songs. And High School Musical, the second movie, was the most viewed movie on Disney Channel history. So it's they're playing to a very large target audience. It had the highest or the first one too had the highest watch time of a DCOM original movie apparently, and then right after they debuted Hannah Montana, this was Disney Prime, so it's just we've all seen it almost. Everyone who's my age, a little bit older, a little bit younger, has all seen it in some capacity, and so they have just such a huge target audience. Musicals and musical theater does have a huge target audience, but teen musical obsessed teens, you're slimming it, right? You could do musical obsessed adult. I mean, I'm sure some adults did watch the show, but I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I'm not the executive producers, but I agree that it wasn't going to survive off of good feelings and good vibes alone. Because I can go watch any show that I have a special interest in that aligns with one of my special interests and get good vibes and good feelings. Rachel Ray, she out the kitchen, y'all, says the overhyped production is uninspired, confusing, and with a simple plot to boot. I wouldn't say confusing. I wasn't lost. I was never lost. I don't even know if the plot is simple. I disagree with Rachel Ray, but sure, she said that. Brian Lowry says, put it simply, Glee strikes too many sour notes for a series with precious little margin for error. I don't know how I typed these, but I don't even know if that's what it says. You can read it here. I think watching this post 2009, too many insults are based on stereotypes. There's so many. This whole show is just based on stereotypes, either breaking, supporting, redefining, whatever you want to say about a stereotype, making fun of, but in a classless way. Not in a way that's actually respectful, in a way that's he just said that on national TV. That's how that's what I did think when I was watching this. I was on national TV, he said that. That's in his acting credits or her acting credit, whoever themselves acting credits. Girly pop, you want to hide that episode? You better hide that episode from the recruiters, because what the heck, a Rooney? What the heck, a Rooney? And I think, warning, there's a lot of talk about and I don't even know if I want to say this, but it's in there. And that's what really blew me, was there's a lot of telling people to off themselves, calling people, I mean, freak, geek, whatever, but calling people directly by stereotypes, or saying that just insults that are directly just stereotypical and racist in nature, or homophobic in nature, or xenophobic, whatever you want to insert, phobic. There's so much phobia in this, and some of it is reckoned with, the whole situation with Kurt and his father, where his father is learning to accept his son, and I just watched an amazing interview with Dwayne Wade, which I'm going to find. I'm going to find it. And
if y'all go look at it, I have Zaya, LeBron has Bryce, Melo has Cayenne. All within about a 2-3 week span. All our kids gonna grow up hooping together.
Right.
Oh, we
That's
on.
what you thinking, yeah.
Well, we gonna have 3, baby.
Yeah,
we on.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously, I had a boy. I had another boy. That was my second boy in a row. I'm okay, this is what we do. We're hooping family. And see what happens when you start making plans for other people's lives.
Right. That's her journey.
That's her journey.
But you planned it out.
You couldn't tell me we weren't gonna be on the circuit right now, baby. We hooping. We got Wade in the back. You got the way Wade's on. We doing it too.
Right.
Then I got to meet my child. And a lot of people like to talk about Zaya's transition. To me, Zaya hasn't transitioned into anything but a kid. And now going into young adult.
Right.
I've watched her go through life. It hasn't been no transition for us.
Right.
It's been a transition for the world. But for us, I see the same kid that I've seen since May 29th, 2007.
Right.
Nothing has changed. I think about the safety of my kid.
Right.
I think about the safety of other kids in the trans community. I think about, how the world is trying to hush and exile an entire community like you do not exist.
I'm going to put it here, of him talking about, like, you have a child, but you don't know your child. Like, you don't get to control your child's life. You meet your child and they tell you the life they want to live. And so Kurt's dad is kind of like reckoning with like all of these imaginations that he had of his son, but it's like, until you meet your son, you don't know his life. Like, you don't know what life he's gonna have. So I think that was a really great, like, okay, we're getting over homophobia. Homophobia was tackled, beat up in the middle of the show. But everything else, like racism and ableism and all that stuff, I don't know, I feel like it was the joke. Like, it was the joke of the time, and they did this. Similar to, like, people who are very, like, anti How I Met Your Mother, and I'm on the border of it now, but, like, the beginning of How I Met Your Mother was so misogynist, that it's hard to even get to the later seasons where they stop doing that. So similar to Glee, I'm sure, like, it just starts off so entrenched in a lot of different phobias that it's hard to get to the other ones. But people love this season, so I'm like at a loss for words of like, what's the truth? Y'all love the homophobia, all this stuff, but what? Make it make sense, Lord. But yeah, I think it's interesting, and like kind of like destigmatizing teen pregnancy and stuff like that. Like, they take on a lot of big themes and like thematic approaches and like trust and dishonesty and lying and manipulation, and all of that is wrapped up. And so that's why I don't agree with Rachel Ray when it said the plot was simple. I said, girl, where was the simplicity? Because there's so much thread on the wall. Like, shout out to Mike's Mike. There's so much thread on the wall. Where are we going? And it's like 16 different colors. Where are we going? What the heck? But yeah, I don't think it was simple at all. And that helps me dive right into themes. So again, I pulled this off of the Glee wiki, because the Glee wiki eats. When I find you, wiki, when I find you, wiki, they help me find everything I got on this page right now. So, the desire to escape the confines of small-town Ohio life and make an impact on the world. That was a huge theme. I don't even think it had to be Ohio-specific. It was just any small town of, like, I'm going to make it on the big screen. I'm going to whatever. And that was seen especially in the second half, the, like, season finale, where his, like, arch enemy, Will Schuster's arch enemy, comes in and is like, stop telling these kids they're going to be something someday, because most of them are going to be nothing. Most of them are going to work at the stores that they've worked at since they were 16, because they live in a small town in Ohio. Like, stop telling them they can be whatever they want. They can't, like, just nailing it, like, you are not going to be good. And then they have this whole arc where Archie is like, I want to be a dancer, but he's in a wheelchair. Anyway, but yeah, I think that was a huge theme, and I think that they played with it in a lot of different ways. Again, in the teen pregnancy idea of like, oh, she's ruined her life even further. Like, what? Not only was she gonna peak in high school and be the main cheerleader and then do nothing else, she's also pregnant, and so she loses her access to being a cheerleader. She loses her, right? Like, there was a lot of talk of like, what does your identity say about your future? Especially in high school kids, because we all know, like, our identity in high school that's really who we are, honestly, truly. Like, who we are in high school is, like, who you are truly. Who I was in college, don't know her. Never met her a day in my life. Probably will never meet her again. But, like, me in high school, I could be friends with my high school self right now. So, I think they did a really good job of that. Second, I do have teen pregnancy. And, again, just, like, kind of destigmatizing teen pregnancy, almost, question mark. The front half of the plot where she's going to give the baby to the woman who's faking having a baby, Will Schuster's wife who fakes having a baby, who's having a hysterical pregnancy, that's kind of real. Like, you know, you just want to get rid of it. You just want to get it over with as quickly as you can, especially coming from a religious household. In the whole conversation where, like, I hate this, Finn outs her to her parents, and, like, that was so destructive. Like, again, Finn being, like, this lovable, he doesn't do anything wrong as character. No. Finn f***ed up a lot, including in that moment of, like, you never out someone in no capacity, pregnancy, sexuality, whatever, to their parents. Like, that's between them and their parents, because it has to do with their physical health and safety. And again, we see that she does get kicked out of her house and has to move into a different location. And especially as a pregnant woman, does she move in with Mercedes? I think at first. I forget who she moves in with first, but it's just like that stress that he caused her is going to affect that child in a way that they will never be able to predict. But I'm just like, come on, dude. Like, I kind of secretly didn't like Finn's character. Finn is the character. I secretly didn't like Finn because he just was so chaotic and caused way more hell in other people's lives, and then constantly liked playing the victim. Finn, get out of here. Go home. Go home. Like, what the hell? I wanted to punch him. Even though they did manipulate him the whole season and telling him he's a father and he wasn't. It wasn't even the whole season. It was like the first couple episodes, because it was the season finale before regionals, and then they do regionals, right? Yeah, before regionals, regionals and then state. I was like, dude, I don't know. It didn't seem that bad compared to all of the little things that kind of stacked up into a mountain of things that happened by the end of it. I said, girl, now you're wrong. Now you know you're wrong, okay? Third, concealing and revealing their true selves. So, again, Cherry's fake pregnancy, Schuster and Pillsbury, Kurt coming out to his dad, Kurt and Finn becoming stepbrothers, where it's revealed that Kurt basically, like, matched their parents together, and that's how they became stepbrothers. And then Rachel finding out about her mom, which, I'm sorry, when Idina Menzel came out, I was like, what are you doing here? How did they get you on Glee? Like, I don't know. Idina Menzel, let me see. And this is why I have the iPad, because we're not Googling things on the computer. Am I loco for thinking Idina Menzel was bigger than Glee? Am I wrong for thinking she's too big for Glee? Like, was this a, like, what? I know Idina Menzel from Frozen. And I think that's the problem. And Wicked and Enchanted. No. Yeah. Enchanted the movie or Enchanted? Yeah, Enchanted the movie. Okay. Rent. That's what I'm just like, how did they get her to play in Glee? How much money did they spend on that? Like, half their budget went to just getting Idina Menzel to play a director. I'm sure she was like, oh no, I'd love to, like, because it was nostalgic for her. But I was like, girl, what are you doing here? You are a star, an icon, and they got you in this weird ass TV show about kids in Glee Club, in show choir. What the, go do something else. Like, what the heck? I don't know. She felt too big for the show. And that plot point of Rachel finding her mom, that being Rachel's, like, plot point, it was like her finding her mom and then her also, like, detaching singing from being her only identity, and them again doing that through a person with disabilities and basically saying, hey, you lost your voice, but at least you didn't lose the ability to use your arms and legs. Hey, no, let's not do that. So I think Rachel could have had a stronger story arc, whatever she could have had more going on. I liked her little lover girl era. I liked her little lover girl story arc where she was kissing and hugging and sucking on any boy that liked her, and I couldn't tell you how confused I was that so many of these boys liked her. She wasn't ugly, like, I'll give it, she was not ugly, she was just like a little quirky, and you just had to get through the quirks, and she was an only child, okay? All only children have more than a handful of quirks, so I get that. I liked that story arc for her, not the finding her mom, because I don't think it lasted long enough, and I don't think it was, like, the reveal was juicy enough for them to have spent as much time as they did on it. Like, I think they could have just either it could have been one episode or it could have been like the entire arc of the second half, but it was like 4 or 5 episodes like randomly placed in between. Again, when we have 22 episodes, a 4 or 5 episode arc is not enough for me. Like, it has to be get it over with or make it more juicy and draw it out. So I don't know. I was like, I don't want to be caught in the middle. I don't want the equal middle. I want one or the other. Just go ahead and pick one. But yeah, Kurt coming out to his dad, like I explained, was probably my favorite plot for the characters. I loved Kurt's character. He was probably my favorite because I think he did it. He was always real. He was the realest out there. Okay? Him and Mercedes is the real. No, him, Mercedes, and him, Kurt, Mercedes, and Tina is the only characters I will stand for. They was the realest trio out there. We the big three, okay? Don't need a big speech. They was the realest characters in the whole show. And so all of their plots I loved. Mercedes didn't even get a thick plot. I was so mad. Whatever. Oh, and Naya. We the big four. But them, they ate their roles. I think too, like, I didn't talk about this at the beginning, but a big a thing that people talk about a lot with Glee is, like, it's really interesting to watch the show knowing how many of the main characters have passed due to unfortunate circumstances or just life in general. And I don't remember who's passed away, and I didn't look it up while I was watching the show because I was, like, kind of wanting to be in their living memory and not spoil it for myself, but, like, then, like, allow that to persuade how I felt about their characters because nah, bro. But I do want to say, like, you know, watching this from, again, also the perspective of, yeah, so many of these characters passed away, and, like, this show changed so many lives, and it was like, if they did one thing, they did this. That's a really great positive about Glee and its impact, because it did do a lot for people who are outside of the normal circle, right? A lot of validation points of, like, no, you can be whoever you want and you can do those things and people don't have to understand, and that's okay. Kind of recalling to the point where Kurt is dressed up for Lady Gaga or something, and the football players come up to him and they're like, hey, you can be gay or whatever, but you can't parade it in our faces all day and wear your stupid costumes and be loud and wrong. And he was like, don't you wear a Letterman jacket every day? Don't you wear a jersey half the day? Like, you're also constantly parading and reinforcing your character onto me. And I think I said this in the what freaking movie was that? That was a couple movies ago. I mean, a couple episodes ago. Not Harry Potter, not Perfect Fine, but Bottoms, where it's, yeah, there's, like, an attachment of, like, the characters are constantly wearing interblink because that's all they are, is, like, they're just cheerleaders or they're just football players. There's nothing more to who they are in their identity, whereas Kurt is like, I am wearing all these things and I connect myself to my identity. I express my identity through what I wear because it's ever changing and it's not just stagnant and it's not just dependent on a power hierarchy on other high school students. Like, I actually am a person underneath my clothes, unlike you. Even Kurt and Mercedes, okay, Mercedes did get a little plot when they tried to be cheerleaders and they told her she had to lose, again, how did we, when they were just making fun of her and saying she had to lose weight and, like, promoting ED. Whoa, how did this air? On national TV? On national TV? Oh my god. But yeah, I do love Kurt's character. I love Mercedes' character because by the end of it, she's like, nah, I'm not doing it. Like, you couldn't pay me all the money in the world. And when she does become a cheerleader, just, like, because of their voices and they can sing or whatever, and then Puck tries to use her status to elevate himself, she stops being a cheerleader. She's so real for that. She is so real for that. Again, if it ain't Kurt, if it ain't Mercedes, and if it ain't Naya or Naya's character, if it ain't Santana or oh girl, if it ain't freaking dang, why'd I forget? I keep forgetting her name. Hello? Tina. If it ain't Tina, Santana, Kurt, or Mercedes, don't talk to me about it. Don't talk to me. That's the only reason I'm probably going to keep watching the show, for their very minute but powerful story arcs. Okay? So, yeah, that's all I have for themes. And so lastly, I have questions that need answers. Best song of the season, Santana and Mercedes singing The Boy Is Mine. How many letters in Devoured? Thank you. 8 down. 8 down. How many letters in Mercedes? 8 down. Okay? Oh my God. That was probably the best song. I don't care. I did like when they improv'd regionals and Rachel did her solo at the beginning. That was good. I was on the edge of my seat with that one. I really like that one as well. And also Kurt singing the song where it's like, when is it going to be my turn? Da-da-da-da, my turn. I'm going to have to find the episode and put it in. But those are probably my 3 favorite songs. Second question, or research point. This is the only season to feature no original songs. So every song they sing exists in the world. Every song is a cover, basically. It took me a while to start liking the original songs from High School Musical, the musical, the series. So I kind of like that part. But tell me, did you like the fact that, like, if you've seen Glee in the original form, whatever, did you like the fact that the first season was all covers? I know my friend also mentioned that, like, basically them doing covers of songs, like, that was the draw in for people to watch. They were like, oh, we're gonna sing this song this episode, or next week it's gonna be these songs, or, like, you know, that was the draw in to get people to watch, to be excited about specific songs that they were gonna sing. So, like, the Lady Gaga was like, oh, next week is the Lady Gaga episode, like, and then people were tuning in because they liked Lady Gaga. So I don't know. I kind of like that part. I kind of understand why they started to introduce original music, because it was like, no, these people can really sing, and they deserve to, like, sing songs that mean something to them that they've written. And I'm sure they're all songwriters in some capacity. Any person who can actually sing has probably written has a notebook of just songs that they've never released or whatever. So, yeah. I also had a release schedule feelings on the question that you need answers, but I've already talked about that. So let's just get into Second Date Never, because it's about that time. Second Date Never, it was I have to pee so bad. I'm going to come right back. Whoa. Speaking of Glee, this got me back on my Hamilton fixation. It got me back into my Hamilton era. And, but yeah, Second Date Never. It's giving yes and no. I think with shows, it's almost like, would I watch the second season? And the answer here is yes. Like, I think I'm gonna try, but I'm not gonna, like, force myself. Like, I got to a certain point in season 1, and I was like, I gotta finish it. I gotta see it through. I'm a fiend. I'm like, I already done 6 episodes. I gotta do 10 episodes. Like, I gotta do it. Like, I'm coaching myself through this. So I'm like, second season, I would cut myself a little bit more slack and be like, I'm done here. Or just pick it up and put it down as I see fit. This first season, I kind of was like, come on, power through, like, get it together, lock in. So yeah, I think Second Date Never, if I did, and again, it has to get better. About stereotypes and people and stereotyping people. I'm not watching no more TV where the people are getting stereotyped so bad that I feel offended. Right? As a gay black woman, who's been trying to redefine her relationship with food, this was a tough season to watch. Like, what the heck? So yeah, I'd have to give it 6 out of 10. Okay. First 10 episodes, like first half was a 9 out of 10 for me. Second half, sliding down to a 7. So 8 overall, 8 out of 10. It's pretty good, but it wasn't great. It was really good for a TV show about musical theater. Not even about show choir. But there's no theater in it. Like, there's no... Like, High School Musical, the musical theory is about musical theater and theater geeks. This is about show choir geeks, which I think is a much smaller facet of American high schools. Although my friend revealed to me, again, my friend, they were in show choir, and that's why they really liked the show. And so I feel like I need to ask them to be like, oh, if you weren't in show choir, do you think you would have watched this show? Because I wasn't, like, in high school, I wasn't in. And this came out when we were in middle school. Yeah, I don't think I would have. I don't know. I don't know how much I would. Obviously, I didn't watch it in middle school. They were like, no, I tuned in every week as a middle schooler and watched it. And I'm like, whoa, not I, said the fox. But I get it, I guess. But yeah, that's Glee season 1. Stay tuned. I might just watch. What if I just watch season 1 and the last season? I might just watch season 6. Well, season 6 only 6 episodes. I might watch season 5 and season 6 and come back. I'd have to get through the rest. I'd actually have to watch everything in between. I couldn't watch because it's one character that I keep seeing in like Glee edits, and I'm like, who is that? And I think he comes in later, and I'm like, who is he? What is he doing here? I get so mad every time I see him because I'm like, I don't know who that is yet. Stop showing him. But yeah, I've already started my second rewatch of Harry Potter. I started it last night, so yes, definitely stay tuned for more reviews on Harry Potter. But yeah, that's been this week, guys. For the first time, Glee for the first time. What a time we had that night. Yeah, awesome. Catch you guys in the next one.